I'm Jody Nordstrom here with Cellar Notes. Joining me today is Gary Crabtree with Moët Hennessy USA. Gary, can you tell us a little bit about what you do with the company?
Sure. First of all, thanks, Jody, for having me. I am currently the market manager for Moët Hennessy USA for the state of Minnesota and North and South Dakota. I call on a distributor network that distributes a luxury portfolio of wines, spirits, and champagnes to our distributor partners and retail partners in the upper Midwest.
Can you give us a brief history of Moet and Chandon and how it is you began?
I'll do as brief as I can. It's a kind of a long and storied history. The company started in 1743 by Claude Moet. Claude was kind of a forward-thinking entrepreneur who kind of saw the value of luxury champagne. So what he did, he had connections in the Palace of Versailles along with other places across Europe of very notable kings and people. And what he did then is he began the company that his son got involved with probably toward the end of the 1700s. Claude Louis, his grandson Jean Remy, who was probably the most famous of the Moets, took over the business in the early 1800s, and he was probably most famous for his friendship with Napoleon. Along the way, they also purchased the Abbey of Oberlay, which was the home of Dom Perignon, and together launched the business into the middle of the 1800s. His son Victor, along with a man by the name of Pierre Gabriel Chandon, created the Moët and Chandon Company. In 1842, they made the first vintage champagne. In 1860, they made a commemorative bottle of champagne in honor of the Emperor Napoleon, and that is the Brut Imperial that we enjoy today. From that point on, the company kind of went into kind of a period of disrepair due to the phylloxera epidemic of the 19th century and the world wars that decimated Europe in the early 20th century. Until about in the 20s, when a man by the name of Count Robert Louis Duvogue picked up the company and brought it into the modern age into the 60s by picking up acquisitions outside of the wine business like Dior, and finally in 1960 he brought in the company called Hennessy and formed our company Moët Hennessy in the early 70s. So that's about as brief as I can put it.
Perfect. You know, France has specific growing conditions, the specific regions that champagne comes from that makes it a true champagne. What can you tell us about the region that makes the wine so unique?
Champagne is very unique. It's a 45-minute train ride into the northeast of Paris, but it literally sits on what they call the Paris Basin, which is a kind of a long ago inland sea of 10,000 years ago that left this particular region on top of thick layers of chalk. So besides that, you know, just the oceanic and environmental conditions of the land, it's a very cool climate. Very favorable to the grapes that go into making champagne, the acidity level. Also, the region, the slopes and the plains of the region are very conducive to the atmospheric optimism to grow champagne grapes. Just the secular knowledge of the generations of people that are there and have sustained their companies over hundreds of years are very favorable. But this chalk is probably the most unique in that it gives off a variety of benefits to the grape. It holds water, which is very favorable to the vines. It also drains freely, which pushes the roots of the wine stock further down, making them stronger. It also contains minerals that are very beneficial to the growth. And lastly, it provides these deep caverns that have been excavated all the way back to the Roman days, where most of the champagne growers store their wines right now. Moët in particular has over 100 miles of underground cellars. that they store their wines and champagnes in.
And then not everyone realizes that to be a true champagne, it has to come from Champagne, France.
Right.
What can you just briefly tell us about the methods on how you make your Imperial?
There's really three different, there's really four, but the three main ways of making sparkling wines or champagne is first of all, just basic CO2, which is somewhat similar to what the soda industry or the beverage soda industry does today. The second is what they call the Charmat bulk process, where the wine is literally primarily fermented in a vat, and then it's pressure filled into the bottle. That type of process is very indicative to Proseccos and Astis. Okay. The third method, which all champagnes uses, and some higher class sparkling wines, is what they call method champenois or method traditionnel, where after primary fermentation, the assemblage is transferred into a second bottle, and there it undergoes a second fermentation over a period of time, and then it's disgorged, recorked, and aged.
We've recently seen a spike in sparkling wine champagne sales. You know, people are enjoying them more on an everyday basis than just for special occasions. Can you tell us a little bit about the Chandon Brut and the Imperial?
The Moët Imperial is a assemblage of over 100 different still wines. Moët has a vast, extensive holdings in Champagne of around 2,500 acres, and employ the service products of probably 250 growers. So we're able to get a nice pick of the wine litter, if you so. But anyway, this is a blend of about 30 to 40% Pinot Noir, 30 to 40% of Pinot Meunier, which provide the structure and the balance of the Champagne, plus about 20 to 30% Chardonnay, which is the acidity and the biscuit flavor of the Champagne. Along with that, about 1 to 3 year old reserve wines to kind of keep up the constancy and the fruitiness of the product. The Chandon portfolio, if I could just go into our Chandon, this was the first facility brought in by Moet in 1973 after the company Moët Hennessy was formed, and we brought our Chandon sparkling wine facility to Napa Valley and created a assemblage of pretty much the same 3 grapes. So the Chandon Brut is in the Brut style, which is the Brut style of Moët Imperial, which means that the sugar level is less than 12 grams per liter. And we have I believe that is the Riche, which is more of a sweeter style. And then we have the Chandon Rosé, which is a Pinot Noir forward with just a little bit of Pinot Noir reserve wines added.
Other than the United States and France, does Chandon have vineyards anywhere? We
do. We extensively. You know, first of all, we own Dom Perignon, Krug, which is our high tête de cuvée, high-end champagne, Renard, Moet, and Veuve Clicquot. Those are our champagne properties. We also have a property in Argentina with Terrasses, which was our first venture outside of France in 1959, where we produce a variety of still wines, Malbec being the flagship. We also have a facility in Western Australia, Cape Mentelle. We have a facility in New Zealand, probably the definitive Sauvignon Blanc of the world, Cloudy Bay. We have a facility in Spain with Numancia, which is a beautiful representative of the Toro region and the Tempranillo grape.
If someone wanted to tour the wineries, is there a certain time of year that is best to go, and are they able to do that? Well,
we certainly encourage our buying public to come and see us. Chandon in particular, if anybody would desire to go to our Chandon facility in Napa Valley, it's an experience, and there are public tours available, and just simply can come in and sign up at the front desk and join a group and get a firsthand experience with a trained guide to take you through all the steps of sparkling wine production, and then joined afterwards with a tasting. The same thing with Moet. Moet has the same facility in Epernay where you can come. I would encourage you to get a hold of the winery probably 3 weeks ahead. That site is on the website. And there again, you can meet in the lobby and join a group and have a tour of the cellars, followed by a tasting and a visitation to our gift shop.
Thank you, Gary, for joining us today, and thank you for watching this edition of Cellar Notes.
Thank you.